Angels, it's Hailey Reese and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited that you are here and I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you when this video finally reaches you. Today's video is so creepy, unsettling, and unexplained, and I am so curious to know what you guys think or to hear what you guys think as far as what's been happening to people from all across the world. Today we are diving into encounters with the sinister, smiling woman, a woman that many people from all across the world have been seeing, but it's what happens following seeing her that makes her so frightening. Now, nobody knows what exactly this woman is, but what they do know is that she is an entity you do not want to encounter. So today, we're gonna dive into the story of somebody who did encounter and has been encountering this woman and the terrifying events that followed. But before we get into today's video, I would very quickly like to take a moment to thank today's video sponsor, Harry's. Some people think of Harry's as just a men's brand, but they don't make razors strictly for men. They make razors for a smooth, comfortable, close shave at an affordable price, no matter who you are. Now, I've been using Harry's for years now, but when I first got my Harry's set, I was so shocked at how smooth my skin felt after and how close and truly comfortable the shave was. Now, Harry's has been my go-to ever since I first tried it because I love that not only do I get a close, comfortable, smooth shave, but Harry's is so affordable with blades as low as $2 per refill, which is crazy. I love that I can get my razor delivered straight to my door, but beyond that, I love that Harry's sets aside 1% of their sales to support nonprofits. And I absolutely love that Harry's are passionate about providing fair price razors for everyone, meaning no pink tax and no outrageous price tags. Just premium quality at an extremely affordable price. But the best part is that you can redeem your Harry's trial set for just $3 when you head to harrys.com/HaileyReese. I will have it linked at the very top of my description for you. You'll get a 5-blade razor, weighted textured handle, a blade cover, and their shave gel with aloe. So as I mentioned, you can redeem your trial set for just $3 when you head to harrys.com/HaileyReese. Again, it will be linked at the very top of my description. And thank you so much to Harry's for keeping me smooth and for sponsoring today's video. But without further ado, let's get into these terrifying experiences. So the very first encounter that I came across was with a man named Mark. Now, Mark lives in New York City and has for pretty much all of his life. His backstory is that he's married with no children. He is very, very close with his wife. She is his absolute world. And his father passed away when he was pretty young. He said that because his father had passed away when he was so young, he didn't know too much about his father's past and really bonded with his mom growing up, learning more stories about their love story and who his father was and what their life looked like, because he had very little memories from when he was little. Now, because Mark lived in New York City, he claimed that it just didn't make sense for him whatsoever, given the location of his work, for him to have a car at all. So he would frequently ride the subway and occasionally take a taxi to and from work every single day. Now, Mark goes on to say that he recognizes that there are some interesting folks in New York City as there are in big cities. Now, Mark said that while there were some interesting people that would ride the subway and be within the subway stations, he'd lived in New York his entire life and he knew the proper precautions to take, the safety measures to take, and to just kind of keep his head down, don't stare at anyone too long, and go about your own business. So he did just that. For years, despite the interesting characters Mark would come across, nothing suspenseful or crazy happened to him on the subway. That was until one morning as he was heading to work. This morning, Mark said that he woke up and the morning almost felt off. He kind of described it as feeling like he was in a little bit of a dream or a trance, and he just felt like he was really in slow motion, if you will. He got to the subway station right around his usual time, waited with pretty much the usual people, give or take some new faces, got onto the subway, sat down, and started scrolling through photos that he and his wife had taken over the weekend as they'd had like a weekend getaway. Mark said that he wasn't typically an intuitive person. He wasn't really somebody who even paid attention to the people around him on the subway. He liked to keep his head down, kind of just go about his own private business, but today it just felt odd. He felt like somebody was staring straight into his soul. So after a couple of minutes of this, he decided to look up, take a look around, and see why he had such a strange feeling. Mark said it was as though he was in a horror film, because the moment he lifted up his head and looked across him, there was a woman staring straight at him in a way that he can only describe as sinister. Mark said this woman had a long, flowy dress, that she had dark, curly hair that went almost down to her butt, and that she had what looked to be a baby wrapped in a long, thin blanket. But what made this woman so sinister and creepy to Mark wasn't how she was dressed or her baby. It was the way that she was staring at him. She had this wide smile that he said almost felt unhuman-like, and her eyes were piercing into his soul. Now, as mentioned, one of Mark's things that he continuously tries to remind himself while he's on the subway or even in the streets of New York is to not stare into somebody's eyes for too long, especially if you don't know them. So Mark awkwardly looks back down and tries to pretend that this woman wasn't just staring at him in the way that she was. Mark continues to scroll through the photos of his wife, but is now more aware of this woman and has a really strange feeling in his stomach. So after a couple of minutes goes by, he once again looks up, and the woman hasn't stopped staring the exact way that she was before. This big, unhuman-like smile on her face, these piercing eyes, and another thing he noted was that she wasn't rocking a baby like most women would. It was as if the baby was just there and she was staring directly at him. Mark said that she did this for the entire ride that he had to work, and when he got off of the subway, he was feeling extremely nauseous and really unsettled. He actually quickly called his wife and told her about everything, and she reassured him that it's just probably somebody going through something, or whatever the case may be, and to shake it off, he'll likely never see her again. Have a great day at work. Now, Mark said that he didn't want to go into details as to what exactly happened, but he said for the 3 days following having seen this woman, horrible events happened one after the other in his life, one per day after seeing her. On those days, though, despite the strange things happening, when Mark rode to and from work, he'd yet to see the smiling woman whatsoever. So he thought it was a fluke, that he'd ran into an oddball, and that she maybe just had a bit of a staring problem. But on the 4th day, Mark would once again get onto the subway heading to work and start to have that strange feeling once again. This time, he starts looking around quicker than he did the last time, but it didn't take long for him to spot at the other end of where he was sitting, there was the same sinister woman wearing the exact same outfit, holding what seemed to be the exact same baby, with that terrifying grin staring straight into his soul. He said it was almost as if she knew him, that she knew something bad was going to happen, or that she was making a joke of his fears. And he said that he got increasingly uncomfortable and nauseous yet again. The woman didn't speak. The woman didn't break her stare. He said it was almost as if she didn't even feel the need to blink. That's how wide her eyes were, staring straight at him with a smile that humans don't make. He actually described it as almost as big as MOMO's smile, if you guys remember MOMO, which is so eerie. Mark also described that this woman seemed as though her eyes were pretty much black. Even though there was some whites to them from what he could tell, it seemed as though she had very dark eyes and just a very dark energy about her. And every single time he would stare at her, this woman would hold what looked like the baby, but not move, not rock the baby, not look down at the baby, wouldn't do anything but stare directly at Mark. Once again, Mark gets off the subway, calls his wife freaking out, and at this point she thinks that he's being dramatic. She tells him, what if the woman's just happy? Are you sure she's staring at you? Why don't you just ignore her? Like, at this point she's like, the woman didn't do anything last time. You didn't see her for the past couple of days. It's not like she's stalking you. Leave the poor woman alone. So Mark told her the next time that he sees that woman, he's going to take a secret picture of her to show his wife, because he told her, if you saw the way this woman stared, if you saw the energy of this woman, you would feel sick like I do. So Mark decides that that's what he's going to do. The next time that he sees this woman, he's going to take a picture to show his wife, because things just weren't feeling right. Now, here's what's also very important to note. Every week, Mark would go and visit with his mother at least once a week, and they would catch up on everything during the week. They were very, very close as she was getting older, so keep that in mind as well. Once again, the 3 following days after seeing this woman, bad things happen on each day following. Mark said that he's a relatively normal guy, not lucky per se, but not unlucky, and that bad things didn't tend to happen to him so close to one another. So he felt as though the woman and her energy that she was projecting could have something to do with the fact that something bad happened on the 3 following days once again. Except again, he didn't say what these bad things were, and I think there's a reason for that we'll get to, but he did say that this time they were even worse than the ones that had happened the last time. And sure enough, like clockwork, on the 4th day after having seen the woman, he gets on the subway once again, and there's the woman staring once again. So this time, Mark decides he's going to try to sneakily take a photo without her noticing that he's got his phone pointed towards her to take a picture for his wife, because now he's actually getting scared of this woman and he's starting to fear for his life, which he couldn't really explain why, because she hadn't threatened him, but it was the way that she centered him out every single time that made him so uncomfortable. So he put his phone down on his lap and secretly photographed the woman. Mark gets off of the subway once again and calls his wife, saying she's there again on the exact same day that she was last time, staring at me the exact same way that she was, exact same outfit, exact same everything. It's very creepy. And the wife asks him, well, did you take a picture? To which he says, yes, I'm gonna send it to you right now. And you guys, when Mark goes into his photos, where the woman had been standing was entirely in frame, but the woman did not show up in the picture. Mark said that he felt so sick over this, he actually called in sick to work and went back home and didn't know what to do with himself because he just felt ill. Mark started Googling like as much as he could about this woman in New York City with a creepy smile and a baby, and at first nothing was really coming up until he stumbled upon a forum that was hidden deep into the internet. And that's where he found a thread of men from all over the world claiming to have seen a woman exactly like the one Mark had been seeing. Better yet, the men were describing that with each time that they would see her, things would happen worse and worse in the days following. Mark actually started writing in this forum and was talking to these people all afternoon, and they were going back and forth with their experiences, claiming that the woman would show up in the most random of places, claiming that you can't try to outrun her, that it doesn't matter how you switch up your morning routine or your evening routine or your routine in general, she'll appear wherever it is that you are when she wants to find you. But what was weird was that these people were from all over the world. Like Mark was in New York, there was a guy in India, these men from all across the world were experiencing seeing this woman. And where it gets even creepier was that a lot of these men claimed they only stopped seeing the woman when a child in their family passed away. Now, Mark didn't have any children, so that didn't scare him too much, but he couldn't understand as to why this woman was appearing to him. Mark said that his brain felt like it was going to explode. He exited out of the forum, but favorited the page so that he could get back to it and figure out and get to the bottom of what was going on. And when his wife got home from work, he showed her the photos that the woman was supposed to be in. His wife questioned him, saying, "Are you certain that she wasn't out of frame?" To which he said, "She was standing right between these people. I know for a fact, had she have been there, she would have shown up in the photo." And that's when his wife starts to think that he's a little bit crazy. She didn't really believe in these types of things, so to her, he sounded like he was losing it, that he was paranoid, and she said, "You know what, let's take a break. Why don't we go visit your mom? You need to calm down, you've had quite the day." So the two of them go to visit Mark's mother. Mark said that for the beginning of their visit, it was going great. He actually for a moment was forgetting about the woman, but as he was getting ready to leave, his mom asked why the impromptu visit, as they already had a visit scheduled for that week. And that was when his wife cracked a joke, saying that Mark claims he's seeing this sinister, smiling woman on the subway, and that she just wanted him to clear his head because she thinks that he's watched too many horror movies or whatever. That's when his mom asks him to sit down and describe the woman, to which her eyes grow wider and wider as he continues to describe the woman. His mom proceeds to tell him that for a year of her relationship with his father, he claimed he was being followed by a smiling, sinister woman as well. That she thought the only thing that broke him out of that cycle was when she had miscarried what would have been Mark's older brother. Mark asked her if his dad had said anything about who the woman was or what she wanted, and his mom basically just said that no, she essentially haunted him for a year, bad things would happen, and then it seemed as though she decided to move on. His mom said that she'd never told him that, even when he was a child, and that she never truly believed that his dad was seeing this woman until Mark came in and just said that he was now seeing this woman. Mark and his wife left his mom's house, and as they were going home, Mark was telling his wife all about this forum, how he knows he's not crazy. Now he knows even more because his dad experienced it, that he knows that there's an entity that smiles and stares, that none of them know what it wants, just that bad things follow once they see her. And when he got home, not only could he never find that forum again, but it wasn't on his favorites list on his computer at all. That is the last update that Mark had ever posted, and that was a couple of years ago. Meaning I have no idea what ended up happening with Mark, if he stopped seeing the woman, or what the conclusion of it was. And as I dug deep, I never found the forum that he was referencing, although even if it was still online, it may have been deleted by now. All that we know is that there was a group of men, or at least a father and a son, who saw this sinister smiling woman with the baby that just stared at them, and bad luck followed. Whether she's an entity, whether she's a spirit, whatever it is, they don't know. But the creepy part is she doesn't appear in photographs. One man on the forum had told Mark that he once tried to photograph her while looking at the phone. He said that he saw her in the photograph as he was snapping the photo, but when he went to click the photo to look back at it, she had disappeared. How creepy is that? But nonetheless, all we know is that people across the world were experiencing the sinister, smiling woman with the baby. Have any of you ever seen or heard of this woman? I would definitely love to know. And I definitely want to know what you think of this experience down in the comment section below. Do you think it's just another internet urban legend, or do you think there could be some truth to it? Definitely let me know your thoughts. But that is basically it for today's video. Once again, I would just absolutely love to thank Harry's for sponsoring today's video. As I mentioned, you can redeem your trial set for just $3 when you head to harrys.com/HaileyReese. Again, it will be linked at the very top of my description. And thank you so much to Harry's for sponsoring. If you guys are new to my channel, or you are just not yet subscribed but you enjoy my content, I would seriously love it if you go ahead and click that subscribe button. We are very quickly approaching October, and if you're new here, I upload every single day for the month of October, 31 days of Halloween. This year is going to be so much freaking fun. I'm so excited for you guys to see the content that I have up my sleeve. So make sure you subscribe if you enjoy some spooky content and want to enjoy spooky season to the fullest. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you.